Paul's thorn in the flesh. Most people imagine Paul as unshakable, the missionary who survived shipwrecks, riots, prisons, and beatings. But 2 Corinthians 12 gives us a glimpse behind the curtain into a place of weakness Paul didn't talk about easily. He calls it a thorn in the flesh, something painful and persistent, something he couldn't pray away, and he's honest about where it came from. A messenger of Satan to torment me. 2 Corinthians 12:7. Whatever this thorn was, it wasn't small, it was severe enough to drive him to his knees. Paul says, 3 times I pleaded with the Lord about this, that it should leave me. 2 Corinthians 12:8. Pleaded carries the weight of desperation. Paul had seen God heal others. He had cast out demons. He had watched miracles unfold through his own hands. So when he asked for his own deliverance, it wasn't a lack of faith, it was a natural cry for relief. But the answer was no. Not silence, like Moses experienced. Not grief, like David experienced. This time, the Lord speaks directly, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." 2 Corinthians 12:9. God doesn't remove the thorn, he redefines it. He tells Paul the very thing Paul wants gone is the thing God will use to display his strength. The weakness Paul resented would become the doorway for God's power. It's not the answer most of us want. But for Paul, something shifts immediately. He writes, "Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me." 2 Corinthians 12:9. Notice that word, rest. It carries the idea of dwelling, settling, covering. Paul realizes the thorn didn't push Christ away. It drew Christ closer. And then he says something that only someone who has wrestled through suffering can truly understand. For when I am weak, then I am strong. 2 Corinthians 12:10. Not strong by grit or willpower or discipline, strong because weakness became the place where self-reliance died and dependence on God came alive. This story speaks directly to anyone who has asked God to remove something, an illness, a limitation, a crisis, a burden, and heard a divine no. Not every no is judgment. Sometimes it's alignment. Sometimes it's God turning our struggle into a platform for his strength. Paul didn't romanticize his pain, but he refused to waste it. If God wasn't going to take the thorn away, then Paul would let God use it. And maybe that's the unexpected beauty of this passage. God doesn't just work through our victories. He works through the places we would never choose, the limitations, the wounds, the unanswered prayers, until what felt like weakness becomes the very thing that keeps us close to him. The thorn didn't defeat Paul. It shaped him into a man whose strength came entirely from the presence of Christ.